This is Constitution Day. How many of you knew that? September 17th, 2019. Happy birthday, America. It was on this date in 1787 that the founding fathers got together and agreed upon the United States Constitution. That's who the United States is. And that document went on to create the most prosperous, free, greatest nation in the history of man. Of course, it isn't as great as the kingdom of God, but as far as we have it out here on earth, there's been no greater country when you take into account all of those factors: freedom, prosperity, justice. Are we perfect? No, but we should honor Constitution Day for the work they did and what we have here 232 years later. Yes? You got the answer? Go ahead. Give it to us, Prother.
Bob, then Kelly, then Sally, then Justin.
Close, but no cigar.
Please.
Give us the answer, Sydney.
Bob, Kelly, Justin, Tim, Michelle.
Bob, Kelly, Justin, Tim, Michelle. If you look back over that and you still don't understand it, see me later. We are on page 41. I think I just gave you one question yesterday on page 41. True? I said, you know what? We're running so short on time. I can only give you one because it would be unfair to give you a bunch of homework. But now that means we got to get to work quickly today. Was it number 5? Okay. Fran is saving money for a color printer that costs $210. That must be quite a printer. She makes $6 an hour babysitting. Her parents will contribute $120. Use the problem-solving plan to find how many hours she needs to babysit to earn enough money for the printer. First of all, what is the problem-solving plan? Is there such thing as the problem-solving plan? Well, there is. Somebody go back to page 39, I believe. And at the bottom, I think, of page 39, you will see the problem-solving plan. So let's attack it from that perspective. Here's your problem. What do they say to do first? Bottom of 39. Rachel.
Read and understand. Make a problem carefully. Identify the question and important information.
What's the question? So you read that whole paragraph. Let's boil it down to what are they asking? The problem-solving plan says, hey, okay, that's a lot of information. First thing we do is find out, what are they asking? And the answer is, what are they asking? Don't give me the answer to the problem. What are they asking? Go ahead.
They're asking how much hours she needs to work to get.
So you're looking for how many more hours she needs to work, right? What's the pertinent information? What's the important information? You got a whole paragraph there. What are the important things you got to pull out of that paragraph?
210, 120, and 6.
So she needs 210, true? She needs her money to add up to 210, right? Step 2 of the problem-solving situation. What's step 2 say? Page 39, bottom. Lauren.
Make a plan, decide on any problems and try to do it.
Okay, what's going to be your strategy? She needs $210. Make a plan. Let's see. She already has how much? She already has 120. How's she going to get more money? She's going to babysit. How much does she get for babysitting?
$6 an hour.
So she has 120. She needs 210. I need to add to her 120 babysitting money. What do I know about her babysitting money? She makes $6 per hour. You with me on this? She makes $6 for each hour. She has 120. She needs to get to 210. She makes $6 per hour. Everybody stop and look at that a second. That's going to help me solve this problem with a variable expression. Because I need to know what they ask me. I need to know how many hours. So I want to get to where H, I want to know what H is. How many hours does she need to work? Well, what do we know about algebraic? Go ahead and say it. What do we know about algebraic axioms? You can add, subtract, multiply, or divide from both sides of an equation, and it'll still be an equation. And you should do whatever they do to the letter, you should do the opposite. How do I get rid of the 120? I want to isolate h by itself. I have a 120 over here with my h term. How do I get rid of the 120? What did they do to the 6h? They added 120. How do I get rid of 120, Brett? How do you undo addition? Subtract. Brett says subtract 120. If I do it from one side, what must I do to the other? The same thing. Because what's this guy called? Equal means something. That means both sides have to be the same. If I take 120 away from here, I must take 120 away from there. So what am I left with? 6h equals 90. 210 minus 120. Sloppy writing. Now, I have a 6 next to my h. I want to know what h is. We identified the question before we started. We need to know how many hours she needs to work. So what is h? What did they do to the h? Did they add, subtract, multiply, or divide 6? Which one did they do? The 6 is written right next to the h. David, don't lean on your chair. They multiplied by 6. So how do I undo it, David? You undo multiplication by dividing by 6. Make sure you're paying attention here. Preston, what's 6 over 6? Do you understand the fraction bar is a division sign?
Yes.
So what's 6 over 6? 1h. Lauren, do I need to write a 1 in front of that h? Did you ever notice we never write a 1? Like if it's x, we don't write 1x? Because it's just understood. It's 1x. If it wasn't 1x, they would have put a 2 or a 16 or something else there, right? So this is 1h. Micah, if I divided this side by 6, what must I do to this side? If I'm going to say they're equal. Divided by 6. Did you all get 15?
Yes.
Yes.
That's how you do it algebraically. That's where we got to start. I got to start funneling your thinking to, I solved this problem by creating a variable expression. Remember that word from 2 weeks ago? That phrase? I solved this by creating an algebraic or variable expression, and h is 15 hours. How many hours does she have to work to have the money? 15. Everybody got it? Okay. Let's start working on 7 through... Let's get 7 through 9 done. And our goal is to be done with 7 through 9 by 10:18. And nope, it's not your homework yet. By 10:18, we're getting done with 7 through 9 so that I can go over them on the board with you. What page? 41 and 42. Yes? No, your test is until Thursday. Thursday. See, you've done already. We haven't said hi lately to Julia, Johnny, and Sawyer, so everybody say hi.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Do you guys see Julia all the time?
Yeah.
You guys ever see Johnny or Sawyer?
No.
No, we never see them. I don't even really know them.
But Julia plays volleyball?
Yeah. Yeah.
Down to 5 minutes.
Do we have to figure it out too?
You're supposed to be following the problem-solving plan.
I was different, so
We just went over it, page 39. Read and understand. What are they asking? Make a plan, solve the problem, I neglected part 4 of the problem-solving plan. I was supposed to check to see if my answer was correct. I was supposed to put 15 up here. Is 120 plus 90 210?
Yeah.
I forgot to check. That's step 4. First thing you do, though, read that paragraph and identify what they're asking, and then pick out the important information. For instance, number 7, they're asking again, how many hours per week do you practice? So your final answer is going to be hours. And then what did they tell you so far? It's 2 hours. Weekdays. By the time you get to middle school, you should know the difference between weekdays and weekends. Hopefully everybody's at least done with number 7. You done with them all? Wow. Anybody else done with all 3?
I'm on 9.
It's all right. Don't rush. Don't race. It's not a competition. Please. No wagering. What's the matter? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Just attack it, Rhodes. Attack it. Whether it's right or wrong, attack it. Trial and error then.
I know how to do it. I just need to figure it out.
Again, pre-algebra. For some of you, it's the first time you've ever actually had to think about math. Through 6th grade, you added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided. And if you did those things well, you did well in math. And now you're here like, whoa, I got to figure things out. And if you're honest, a lot of times you didn't understand the story problems, you didn't care to understand the story problems, and you just hoped that they would be done and go away, and hope that the teacher wouldn't pick you for reasoning in the Math Olympics. That's basically your math life here at Heartland through 6th grade. So now you're forced to think mathematically instead of just computing. Hopefully you're on number 9. Micah, I see you checking out the metric system. You got that down pat now, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
if you didn't get finished, no need to fret nor worry. Just make sure you're paying attention as we go through how those that did finish and got it right went about attacking number 7. You practice for 2 hours each weekday, 3 hours on each weekend. How many hours per week do you practice? Your job is to find out how many total hours. What do you know? You practice 2 hours each weekday. How many hours do you practice during the week? What did you do to figure that out? Casey?
16.
Your total answer is 16. Did everybody get 16? Yes, but listen, we're not jumping right to the answer, David. I have to take you through the thinking process. 2 hours each weekday. How many weekdays are there? 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. How many weekday or weekends are there? 2. 3 times 5. I'm sorry. 3 times 2 is 6. So you added 10 plus 6. Everybody got it? 16 hours. Number 8. The Tour de France bicycle race covered 3,462 kilometers in 21 days. They tell you how many miles or kilometers they've gone already in 19 days. Then they tell you how many they went on the 20th day. Your job is to figure out what was left. Listen, your job is to figure out how many kilometers were left, right? You take the first 19, you add to that day 20. They've already told you the total. So how do you find out what's left, Mitch? You subtract. Did everybody get 150 kilometers?
Yeah.
If you got 150 kilometers, say amen.
Amen.
Amens have it. Okay, check your computing. You should have added 160 to 3152 and subtracted that total from 3462. Beep, turn the page. Page 9. You're helping out at homeless shelter. Make a lasagna. There's 30 people that need a meal. It takes 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese to make enough to serve 10. You just have 12 ounces there. Somebody's got to go and get more mozzarella for the lasagna. You have 12 ounces, and you need to feed 30 people. 8 ounces feeds 10. How do we go about solving this? Are you just going to give me the answer or how you did it? You going to tell me how you did it? Okay, go ahead. Listen up.
Okay, so I took 10 and then, and then just, yeah, I know how I did it. Just
Sid?
You have to figure out how many 10s go into 30.
Okay.
And then you do 30 minus 8, you 30 ounces of cheese, and 30 minus 8 is, no, please, 30 minus 12 is 18. Yeah, I don't think it's that, right?
Z, what'd you do?
So you need to feed 20 more people. So that's 16 more ounces. And then you do 16 minus 12. Oh, wait, 2. 16 minus 2, so that's 14.
All right, I'll take one more, and then we got to move on. I'll tell you what I think is the easiest way to go about it. Noah.
Okay, so what I did was, so I had the 30 people, I split them into 3 different groups, then it takes 8 ounces, so I have 8 ounces of mozzarella, and then, so each serving serves 10 people, so you 8 times 10. Or not 8 times 10.
Please, Mr. I know. Please, Mr.
All right, listen, real quick. Listen, you may or may not have done it this way. Have you ever heard of the word proportion?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so if I have, listen, if I have 8 ounces that feeds 10 people, how many ounces would I need to feed 30? Okay, 10 times 3 gives me 8 times 3. So I need 24 ounces. I already have 12. How much more do I need? 12 ounces. Or, listen, okay, listen, you might not have remembered how to set up a proportion, but your thinking might have been like this. Well, 10 times 3 gives me 30, and 8 times 3 gives me 24. That's really what you did. You just didn't write it like that. So you said, I need 24 ounces. I already have 12. 24 minus 12 is 12. If you got 12, Say amen. Now, all of a sudden, everybody had it right, after all that trouble we had.
And you didn't call me.
I love, shh, ladies and gentlemen, numbers 10 through 13. Let's find a pattern. We start with 2, we got 7, we got 12. Finish the last 2. Let's do this quickly. That should be a pretty simple pattern for you to pick up. Number 10. Go ahead and write it down. It's not, we're doing this together. It's not homework yet. Nobody's got their hand up. Here's your pattern. 2, 7, 12. Next 2 numbers, David.
17 and 23.
17 and 22. Because what are they doing? They're adding 5. Start with 2 and then you add 5 as you go. Number 11. Number 11 might even be easier. Look at it. What would be the next 2 numbers? Preston. 3, 1. They start at 9. You subtract 2 as you go. 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. Number 12. A little tougher. There's a pattern there. There's a definite pattern. You do the same thing as you go. LP says, close, but no. You must be on the right track, Lorelei, but maybe didn't compute it correctly. Bella.
192.
Who got 192? 192 is correct. What did they do, Bella? Bella says they keep multiplying by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 4 is 8. 48 times 4, 192. And lastly, number 13. Brett? They keep subtracting 4. 21 down to 17, down to 13, down to 9, down to 5. Your homework for today is 14 through 21.
That's not bad.
14 through 21. Page 42. So as of now, the test is scheduled for Thursday. That's only 2 days away. If tomorrow, when we do a review tomorrow, I'll decide after tomorrow whether the test will be Thursday or Friday. Now, don't come in purposely and do bad tomorrow and say, oh, what's that? Hey, everybody, tomorrow when we go into math, everybody act like they don't know anything. So the test is until Friday. No. Wouldn't you rather just get it over with? Yes.
What is adding again? That's exactly like you do like 2 and then you get 1. Subtract 2.
Whoa.
Hey, do you remember that paper thing that you used to do? You put a pencil on top and you hold it. Okay.
Didn't try. I did it all the time.
Yeah, but.
Julia, Johnny, Sawyer.
Hi. Hi, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Test coming up Thursday or Friday.
Hi, Johnny.
Get sick and then you will
Sawyer.
take it.
I swear.